Patrick, you have been tracking this very closely, and you are, I'm sure, happy to announce that TGL rosters are complete. 24,
Maybe.
potentially. 24 golfers, 6 teams, 6, 12, 18, 24. That sounds like 4 golfers on each team. You were telling me beforehand 3-on-3, but an alternate spot or a bench spot just because these guys have those pesky busy travel schedules.
Yeah, you really got to feel for these guys. Just another opportunity to play in front of the cameras, make a little extra money with only 2 hours of work. So, look, I'm really happy for them. We were talking in our golf Slack today about some of the names missing from this list with, I think the 2 big ones were a couple Texans with world number 1 Scotty Scheffler, Jordan Spieth as well. No Victor Hovland also, but like KP said, maybe there's room for more. If Spieth comes back and says, whatever reason I wasn't allowed to before, I can now, I doubt the TGL goes, no, it's too late for you, Jordan. So seems like 24 is the max, but who knows at this point. And yeah, I mean, this could look like anything. You hit full shots in the simulator. You have short game shots in front of you. Big arena in Florida. I'm interested to kind of see what 2 other cities are represented. Why that even matters, I don't really know, because it's all going to take place in Florida. But yeah, TGL is all done. Go Atlanta Drive. Let's go with that.
I think the big omission here is obviously Blocky. I thought.
Really?
I thought that we would get kind of a California team, right? Yeah. With
Morikawa squad. You could throw Cantlay on that team.
Fowler, Cantlay, and Blocky. There, Tiger, yeah. I mean, he's hanging out with Tiger. He's hanging out with everybody. Verstappen, Cat, Homa. I mean, who isn't he hanging out with? Maybe that'll be a backup team. Maybe it'll be like a kind of like a 7th.
Minwoo Lee, Patrick Cantlay, Wyndham Clark, Lucas Glover, Kevin Kisner added to the roster, the TGL roster. Teams still TBD. Atlanta has a team, Boston has a team, LA, New York, and still 2 teams TBD. Mark, we were kind of talking before we went hot. I don't know how excited I should be. In general, when you say, hey, this is a data-driven, quick version Monday night golf league with some of the world's best players, including Tiger Woods, I'm in. The actual functional format, something we've never seen before, the combination of, what they would call in Asia screen golf or simulator golf, and then having like the last 50 or 60 yards on an actual golf hole, a green that can replicate breaks of any hole in the world. I mean, I don't know how this is functionally going to work, so I don't know how excited I should be.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you. Yesterday morning, an Arthur Blank golf day, when I discovered my golf swing is in a big mess, I was having breakfast with Billy Horschel, and he was up there watching the Falcons Sunday with Arthur Blank, and obviously that's where that came about. So they were talking about this, and I was sort of listening to the conversation some, and I kept on saying to myself and thinking, well, I guess I'll watch this the first time, but it might just be like, remember the match. The first match was like everyone watched it because it was COVID lockdown and there wasn't anything else going on. But I still can't wrap my head around what the actual allure is going to be. Now, Patrick joked with me before we went hot, and he said, well, Tiger and company, you got names there. But, there's so much to me to a golf tournament, and the course is always a part of the storyline, and there's the vibe of the fans and stuff. Look, no one really knows what this thing's going to turn out like. So I'll watch the first one, but I really can't see, I guess, kind of like you, how intrigued I'm going to be. And if I'm going to set aside a Monday evening or Tuesday or whenever it is in front of the television to watch this stuff, I really don't.
An untapped time slot, Patrick, Monday nights for golf, at least for golf, obviously. They're not going to go up against Monday Night Football. They're going to have Mondays to themselves there. And we were talking about it. I guess they could play any course in the world. I don't want them to play TPC Deer Run. I want them to play the Predator. I want them to play something wild like I've never seen before, but still few details. So when are we going to find out? You're tapped in. You've got your finger on the pulse. When are we going to find out?
Shut up. I will say there are some details that still need to be hashed out, but as for who this is catered to, I don't think it's us four. I read something once, either on the internet or in a book, that more golf shots were hit this year from fake grass than real grass. You think simulators, Top Golf, all those various activities surrounded by golf. And this is going towards that younger audience who doesn't have the attention span to sit on the couch like, old men and take in final round of a major championship or a PGA Tour tournament. This is for the TikTokers out there, all those people. You get 2 hours, you get Tiger Woods, you get these guys on hot mics joking around, busting each other's balls for what could be, I think really it's more of a way to showcase these guys' personalities than it is their golf games and, building their brands and making them into bigger stars.
I hear you, and I guess that's probably caught my attention a bit more. Here recently, maybe 3 or 4 months ago, in Atlanta, there's a place called In Town Golf, which is very cool. It's kind of high end. You go in there, and there's memberships that were sold, and you go in there, and they greet you, and they take you through there, and there's the sweet bar and restaurant, and then basically these high end booths like simulators that you play golf in. And it was myself and a couple of my former golfers from Columbus State, and we played. And it was fun for the first little while, having a few beers and stuff. But eventually, I was like, So again, I'm going to watch it. I guess you're right, Patrick. It's going to be more the interaction between the players that'll be entertaining than actually watching them hit a ball into a screen. To be real, because look, Rory, watching him hit a drive for real is biblical. Watching him hitting that same thing into a screen, I don't know if it just does it for me, Kyle.
Screen golf, Kyle, in Korea and in Asia is like 20 times more popular than real golf is. And Patrick's right. You've got Top Golf here in the States, and you've got now a bunch of Top Golf competitors in Drive Shack. They're putting one in Atomic Golf at the Strat in Las Vegas. So there's going to be basically 2 facilities within 2 miles of each other there. We have spent a lot of time talking about the things that people watch other people do, play video games on the internet. It feels like we're entering almost that realm of things here.
Is the Asia deal just a real estate issue?
It's a big real estate issue. Yes.
Okay.
And it's also the screen golf is very advanced, right? I mean, you're hitting out of real bunkers when you get into a bunker. It's not just like a regular flat situation. So yes, it's basically how easy it is and accessible to get to a real golf course.
And I would actually be interested. I'm sorry, I had a moment here. Do you guys play Connections, New York Times game?
That's the four things.
Yeah. I think it's the greatest word game ever invented, and I didn't get today's, which is a point of pride that I get them all.
Mm-hmm.
And my wife just sent me a screenshot that she got it, and I might need to leave the podcast for a bit because this is a tough moment for me. I would be interested, Rick, in the numbers from places like New York, San Francisco, Boston, where you also have real estate issues on screen golf. I bet they're decent because it's actually a pretty cool technological solution to a very to a sport that does have a real estate problem. Basketball doesn't really have a real estate problem, right? Adults don't really play football. Tennis. Do it.
Luckily.
Yeah, thankfully. Tennis doesn't really have a real estate problem. Pickleball doesn't have a real estate. I mean, they do, but not the same type of real estate problems that golf has. So that's one part of it. I think screen golf will continue to increase in popularity as the technology gets better. I'm with you guys though. It's kind of like, I think sometimes, and this has been my issues with the match, they throw these guys in front of the camera and it's like, hey, do some dances and tell some jokes. And it's like, that's not really, they're not comedians, like they're not very funny people. Now, go ahead.
does it make it that I completely agree with you, right? Like I think the best one was when Peyton Manning was just able to, he like was the de facto host and he is good enough. And like, I thought that was like the peak of it. There in theory is a lot less downtime in this format where they're not driving to golf. You know what I mean? It's just all, it should be happening a lot quicker. They should have a lot less time to fill with personalities.
Now, what I will say that I would be into, and I don't think they'll do this because it doesn't, they're going for numbers, right? Like this is not a show that is intended to cater to, 10,000 sociopaths. It's intended to cater to 1 million casual viewers. So they won't do this, but if they did, if they got Tiger and Rahm like nerding out on how to fade a bunker shot or how like what you're doing when you're trying to hit a hold off 6-iron into the wind, like I am like, I'll take my money, right? Like I'm all the way in on that because that's the sort of environment where you could do that. Now you're not going to see the ball do what it does, like Mark said, out on like the golf course, but you do get opportunities to sort of talk about those things in ways that you don't when you're out on the golf course because you're walking, you're going different directions. Like it's a more controlled environment for content like that. I just don't know if they'll go in that direction.